Okay guys, I just did $2,000 to $3,000 worth of repairs on this Maxima for a friend. New valve cover gasket, new spark plugs. We ended up needing new coil packs, I'm not sure why. Some new hoses, new rack and pinion, new lower control arms, new axles, new steering rack. I don't know if I said that already. Oh. Dang, I'm waiting for the coil packs for this car, and I was hoping that's the FedEx truck for the coil packs. But that's all that is holding me back right now. But yeah, steering rack, new power steering pump, new power steering lines, return, and pressure side of the power steering. So I'll go over some tips right now. Just waiting to see if this is the FedEx truck for me. Oh, went to a neighbor. Okay. Let's see, where can I start? For the top half of the motor, if we're taking off the intake manifold, this is the intake manifold. This is the back side of it. And if you go through the forums up on the back side of the manifold, they say there's a little, it's 10 or 12 millimeter bolt that holds a gold bracket. I can't remember what this one was now, but that's it. So to help you guys, that is on this one. Okay, here goes one of the hoses that goes up. There's another hose right here. Those are the two hoses to the back of it, and then these two guys plug into here. But that's that gold bracket that they speak about with I can't remember, let me see, I think it's a, this is a 12, so it's a 10. It's a 10 millimeter. The other things that they say is the bracket that holds the back of the intake manifold, because you'll remove the bolts up front, the brackets, and then they mentioned the bolts in the back, 14 millimeter, and I'll show you what those go to. Right here. So this is that back of the bracket that they speak of that is very difficult to get to. I was able to go around the back and just use a wrench on it, and I was able to break them loose and unbolt it. I think some people try to go under the car. I didn't have to do that. O'Reilly's valve cover gasket is complete garbage for this car. I would put it on and it would just slip right off. When I went to flip it over, this harness, be aware, is a pain unless you follow it all the way down to the crank sensor and unplug it. I just moved it off to the side and kind of took it off some of these clips that hold it real tight up here. I use OEM valve cover gaskets, and I will show you the part number here shortly. Also, don't forget, this guy is a bit of a pain. This goes on the end of the intake manifold and bolts right there. I might just put some red RTV. My friend's kind of on a budget at this point, and this gasket is pretty much toast, so I might just put a little bit of RTV and try to bolt it up and get it nice and snug, just to try to help my friend save some money here. This hose was complete. It felt like plastic, which is right here. So we're removing the valve cover. These guys broke. This goes to the intake manifold. No, this goes to the valve cover to the intake. Okay, which is right here. That one also broke. I have Nissan getting me that. I'll be getting that tomorrow. And it goes right here, I believe. Pretty sure. So it goes something like that. I'm trying to see what else. Oh, let's show you. 3 coil packs were okay. These were completely broke when I pulled them out. Well, that one actually goes to another one, but so this one broken coil packs. Let me see what else I can show you guys. Part number for the rear valve cover gasket. So you guys see it right there. Part number for the front. Remember, that's the rear. This one is the rear. This one is the front. And I did have another bag. This is that for that hose that goes to valve cover to valve cover. Okay. I'm gonna jack up the car. Maybe I'll just pull out the old steering rack and go over some points on that. But it's really the big issues with doing this was those few parts that I mentioned that will give you a hard time. But now you guys see it out. There's plenty of videos on how to remove it. They don't necessarily show you afterwards what they did, but they kind of show a little bit, and there's plenty of stuff on the forums that can help you with the little stuff previous to pulling off pulling off the intake manifold. So I'll either jack up the car or I'll just pull out the old steering rack and show you guys some little things on there. Okay guys, here's the steering rack. Super filthy. Power steering did nothing but leak. Obviously the new steering rack has new inner and outer tie rods. This is all old. Let's see. You'll have to drop the subframe by its full bolts. Don't completely remove it, just loosen them up. When you start, you'll see. If you don't try to loosen it, you'll understand, and you're going to go back and you're going to loosen up the subframe bolts. Steering rack was held in by 2 bolts, which goes from the back side forward, so they bolt into the subframe. So remember, loosen the subframe. There's a 12mm bolt that goes through this. It slides over the column right here. There's also 2 fittings. I can't remember which was return, which one was pressure. So when I did it, I removed, obviously, the wheel. I pulled it out from underneath. I pulled it out from the driver's side this way. I loosened it. I unbolted it from the subframe, pushed it up, slid it over to the right. Obviously, the outer tie rods were removed off. You see where they go? Right there. I removed them. I loosened it from the column right here, and these lines I didn't loosen up until I pulled it out to the side to where I could reach it a little easier. So I waited till I had it out on this side halfway. I unbolted it, loosened them up, got them out, and then it was good to go. It slid right out. I highly suggest when you put it back on, loosen up the U-joints underneath the dash. There's a 12mm. It all goes up to the steering wheel. You're going to loosen them, and when you put it back on, with it loosened on the inside, you can pull it all out if you like to look at it or whatever, but you'll be able to slide it onto this much easier than trying to, like I said, it's kind of hard to explain, but when you actually try doing it, keep in mind loosening it underneath the dash completely off. Maybe I'll try to get under there and show you. It's just a pain in its tight space. But I had to loosen it up so I could try to force it down as far onto this as I can before I tighten it back up, because I was having issues of it just catching the top and it just kept spinning. So I was kind of stripping it, so I had to stop and I had to rethink about it. And that's when I went under the dash, completely unloosened it, and then slid it on. Excuse me. So keep that in mind. I highly recommend loosening it underneath the dash and have that part completely free, so you can force it as far down on this as you can. And under the dash it's pretty easy to bolt back up. Just put your steering wheel, but also make sure your column's centered. So I had a friend help me. He said turn it all the way left and all the way right and go back and find the middle point. So I did. It was like, I did this under the dash, so let me get under there. Give me 1 minute. Let me get under there. Okay, so I'm under the dash right now. This is what goes down to your steering column. There's that nut to loose, and it's like a bolt that goes all the way through. And then there, let me see if I can, that's the head of the bolt right there that you see, that little gold shine. That also comes off. So loosen those two both up. You want it completely off the steering wheel. See if I can flip it back around. You want them both off the steering wheel. I'm trying to do this another way. Once they're off the steering wheel, you can feed this further down to get it nice and tight on the column. So, and I spun it right down here in the dash. I disconnected all this. I put I think it was a screwdriver through this bolt hole, and I slid this on right here, and I spun it all the way right and all the way left. And then I came back and centered it. So, and then you want, obviously when you slide it back on to that other bolt that's up here, where you tighten it, I can't even see where I'm at. It's right here. Right there. I think that's it. Yeah. Make sure the steering wheel's straight. So you want this centered and you want this straight, because at first when I did it, get out from under here. When I first did it, it wasn't straight. It would, it turned one whole turn to the left and then 2.5 turns to the right, and I knew that wasn't centered. But hopefully those few little notes help you guys. I'm trying to think of anything else before I cut this video. I also did new rotors and brakes on this car. So many new parts on this car. But if you guys like the video, don't forget to subscribe. More videos coming of the Integra and of the Galant. And of course, the Sentra is buried, but it's back here. I just got finished pulling the motor on it and transmission. But don't forget, like the video, subscribe. Until next time, guys. Hopefully I have more videos up. Today is, I believe, June 27th or 20th. Yeah, today's 27th or 28th. Something like that. But like the video, subscribe. I wanted to do more videos of this, but I just didn't have the time. I'm trying to get this done very quickly. Get it back to my friend. So don't forget, I sell grounding kits for many chassis. And The link will be in the description box below. Like and subscribe, guys. Alright, thank you.